Let's look at chapter 3 of the Yoga Sutra. The first few sutras are dedicated to defining Sanyama. Now, Sanyama is the combination of the last 3 limbs of the Ashtanga, the 8-limbed path. So, Sanyama is when dharana, focus, dhyana, meditative attention, and samadhi, absorption in that meditative attention on the object. When those 3 are operating together, it's called sanyama. In the 3rd chapter, Patanjali goes through the many results of sanyama on various objects. I can't remember them all off the top of my head, but a few of the memorable ones are by sanyama on your navel, you can gain insight into the interior of the body. By sanyama on the stars, I think you obtain knowledge about the planets and celestial bodies. But in any case, we have these 2 that relate to our Vinyasa topic. So, or Vinyasa practice, right? Kramanyatvam parinamanyatve hetuhu Kramanyatvam parinamanyatve hetu Kramanyatvam parinamanyatve hetu. So krama means the succession of events or a sequential progression. So when we sanyama, so when we have this deep absorbed meditative awareness on the sequence of events, what arises is an understanding of the nature of cause and effect. One then understands how a slight change will affect a different outcome based on the changes that have come before. So by meditating on a sequence, on an unfolding sequence of events, one gains knowledge into the nature of cause and effect and how those changes of cause and effect play out. So you could think about that in relationship to Vinyasa practice. Even if we are moving through space, we can meditate on the way in which the moment, like how did my hands get to touch together, right? Well, I had to start moving my right hand, I had to start moving my left hand, and what path did the right hand take to get up here, and what path did the left hand take to get up here? And if that path changes slightly, maybe it affects how and where the 2 hands meet in space and the outcome of it, right? And then as we reach the hands up, we're sort of tracing that unfolding sequence of events, and then something about doing that gives rise to an understanding of the sequence of changes. And it may not seem so obvious when we're moving through, for example, the first movement of a sun salutation, but it is interesting to, when we're that attentive to something like a sun salutation or a yoga practice, what then happens is that then we're more attentive to how the rest of life is unfolding too, right? Like we're sort of conscious of the fact that one action leads to another, leads to another, leads to another, or how a thought leads to an action playing out. Okay, and then we have another sutra from the Yoga Sutras. Kshana tad kramayo Sanyamad Vivekajam Jnanam Kshanatad Kramayo Sanyamad Vivekajam Jnanam Kshanatad Kramayo Sanyamad Vivekajam Jnanam. So kshana is the smallest, most indivisible moment in time. And this verse says something like, when we sanyama, so when we enter that sort of deep focus, meditative awareness and absorption on the smallest increments of time and on their sequence, then what comes is intuitive knowledge born of the awareness of ultimate reality. So something about understanding how the infinitesimally small moments that make up a sequence of events can lead us to knowledge of ultimate reality. Kind of sounds worth practicing to me. So that's what we're doing, just to bring it back to the yoga practice. When we're moving through, for example, a sun salutation, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to align the movement, the gaze, the breath, mula bandha, and the intention to all flow through time in the same direction as one another. So we're organizing all of these pathways, the pathway of vision, the pathway of breath, the pathway of movement, the mula bandha, and the intention, and we're carrying it all forward through time so that then we can not only understand something about time in this manifest realm, like the nature of cause and effect, but then understand something about ultimate reality. Sharon used to say, it reminds me of a beautiful thing that Sharon used to say. She used to say, in order to transcend time, we must become a master of timing. And really, when we, most of our yoga practices have something like that in it. Like in meditation, we're using the qualities of the mind to then go something beyond the mind. We're using the body itself, the movement, the muscles, the breath, to do something that goes beyond the physical. And like this, in practicing Vinyasa, we're being really, really rigid in some ways about timing in order to then learn something about ultimate reality. So I hope that gives you something juicy and delicious to chew on as you explore your yoga practice.